typical teenage girl. She goes to school every single day, and she's involved in several clubs and after-school sports. Then she even takes an extra credit politics class. After school, she works for about 5 hours, and when she comes home, she has to do all her homework. Susan's parents work really late at night, so she has to take care of her brother too. She cooks dinner for her and her brother every single night. That's a lot of responsibility to have for a 16-year-old girl. She can cook for her brother, she has a job, she goes to school, and she has to pay taxes since she is an active member in society. But Susan is not allowed to vote because she's only 16. She's very informed about politics from the class she's taking at school. And since she has a job, she has to pay taxes to the government, and so it directly impacts her life. But she is not allowed to vote, which I don't think is very fair. There are several teens like Susan in the United States. They want a voice, they want to be heard in the government. They're interested in politics. Stated by blogspectator.co.uk, there's 10% more of an interest in politics in teenagers these days. If teenagers want the right to vote, why should we give it to them? If they want a voice, why should we let them have one? Teens are the future of our country, so why shouldn't they be allowed to vote? So today I'm going to be talking about the problems of voting and the problems people have for voting, the causes of people not wanting teens to vote, and the solutions you can give for teenage voting. So first are the problems. In America, we are a democratic society, which means the people vote. If you're not allowing active members of society to vote, like teens, is that really a democratic society? Voting is probably the easiest way to be a part of to have participation in a democratic society. Teens can drive, they have cars, they pay taxes, they have jobs, and they go to school every day. So they're directly affected by the government. Stated by quickfacts.census.gov, in 2012, 23.5% of all Americans were teenagers. Teenagers are a crucial part of our society. Like, for example, in our schools, teenagers are given the chance to be a part of some kind of government situation, like Model UN or SLT. These give students they let them vote and talk about problems they want to change in the school. So, but they can't use anything they learn and put into action because they're not old enough. So why shouldn't we let them vote? And teens are the future of America. So why don't we give them a voice and let them help run their future? So in the 10 Amendments it says we have a freedom of speech. Not giving teenagers the right to vote is kind of taking that away from them. And it also says 10 Amendments also say everyone is treated equal. And letting active members of society not vote is not very equal. Some teenagers are not very responsible, but a lot more of them are. Teens voting would change their lives and outcome of the voting and make it more accurate to what people actually want. So teens want their voices to be heard, but some adults think letting teenagers vote is a bad idea. A big question that is commonly asked is, are teenagers mature enough to make a mature decision on who to vote for? Adults don't think that the voting age should be raised, but they think it should be lowered, or should be lowered, but should be raised. Teens they think that teenagers won't make a mature decision about who they should vote for. They think they might just do what their parents want them to, or just go against their parents just because they want to. But these days, teens are very educated. Teens are able to express interest in what they want and they like, so why can't they do it through voting? Parents might think back to when they were teenagers and how immature they were, but things have changed since then. Teens are very capable of using media and social technology to inform themselves better on who they would like to vote for. Teens go to school every single day and are very educated. Teens are also encouraged to write letters to legislators about problems they think should be changed in their community. So they can write letters to people in office, but they're not allowed to vote who they would like to write and change their problems. But the fact is, teenagers are very smart, and they are mature enough to make a decision. Teens are very capable of voting, so now let's talk about what you can do to get their voices heard. There are many different ways you can help. Some big ways are maybe even present a bill to Congress, or go to DC into the White House and try to get your voice heard there, or even talk to a state representative. There's also a lot of easier things you could do. You could get involved in a school club or even start one and get your voice heard. You could even start a petition and send it to your legislator. It doesn't matter what you do, just get your voice heard. So, in conclusion, we have talked about some statistics about teenage voting and what they want, and why people do and don't want teens to vote, and how you can help their cause and get teenagers to get their voice heard. Teens want the right to vote. They want to be taken seriously by the government. They want a voice. Letting teens vote would increase the voting outcome of the entire country. It would also increase the interest in politics in younger people. If teens were allowed to vote, it would force the government to take them seriously. So if you know you yourself, or you know someone that's like Susan and is very active in her society, don't you think you should or they should be given the right to vote? The next election is about 3 years. So let's give teens the right to vote and give their voice to be heard.